Hey, good morning. What I was wanting everybody to see was the energy level in the cattle. And for mid to late February, that's a great sign. Usually mid to late February is the most difficult part of the year as far as managing the energy level in the cattle with just nature. It's just that's the last step that kind of, you get them over the hump through there and then they start gaining. And so that was very exciting for me to see that type of energy level in those cattle. What's funny about this is the Bermuda Triangle. Normally we're coming from that direction, coming this way. And I've got to put a fence downriver down here to check them up. Otherwise, when I put them in the gate way down there, they run all the way to this end. So now I'm putting them in the gate about midway and they're running to the opposite end. You got to keep them wondering. That's the only way to deal with that peer pressure stuff. And it's windy. Okay, so those of you that maybe weren't with us last year around this time of year when it was almost breeding season, what we are doing is we are trying to create a half Mashona, half Angus from our cattle. We have been keeping cattle for 15, 16 years from our herd and turning them back into our herd. That includes bulls and heifers that function the way we manage on our place. And so we want to take that work that we've done on that animal that does well in our management on our place, and we want to cross them with the Mashona. And we've talked about why we like the Mashona breed before, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll have Lisa put a link in at the end, on the end credits kind of that comes up in the box at the very end. So we want to cross it with the Mashona. So we're on our way. We saved around 110, 105 heifers last year. The plan was to put Elvis and what I call the Three Musketeers, which were Mashona Angus bull calves out of the herd last year. Our plan was to put them with the heifers this year. So we would have had half Mashona, half Angus heifers, and then half Mashona, half Angus bulls. And the only introduction of different blood as far as outside our herd was going to be that bull we call Elvis. And he's been over at my folks' place for several years, and his mom was a 2+3, which means she had a calf at the age of 2, and then had a calf at the age 3, and then the last we heard from the guy, she was 14, 15 years in a row, never missed. So that's great. It's a good sign, but one thing that you don't ever know with respect to that is, how did she accomplish that? Was she helped in any way? Was it done without any inputs? And if so, that's great. That's as good as you can get, almost. The best you can get is one from your place under your management. So, but that's why I went and got Elvis, because he had been at my folks' place and he had been under some tough situations and done well. So now, because of the drought, we were unable to perform that because it was going to mean that we had to have 2 or 3 different herds running in different pastures and never commingling. And for our drought plan, when it starts getting really dry like it was last year, our first step is to combine everything if we don't already have that done. Normally we do, but while we're trying to create our composite, we don't. So we had to go ahead and combine everything, which means all of our females were together. So we had to make a decision on what we wanted to breed to them. And obviously that was going to be Mashona. And so we put our 100% Mashonas again this year with everything. So everything that was bred is going to be half Mashona, and they're either going to be half Angus or they're going to be, let's see, they would have been bred to a half Mashona, half Angus, so they would have been, now those calves will be 3/4 Mashona, 1/4 Angus. Irrelevant. It was something that we had to do. So this year we're going to wean Mashona Angus heifers again and put them with our other Mashona Angus heifers, which are our little red tags. And then we will breed those back to Mashona Angus bulls. So we'll slowly start working the whole herd over into that composite, utilizing the herd that we've been managing under our management on our place for the last umpteen years. And that's hopefully going to be exactly what we want. So I'm telling you that to say we're going to go ahead and keep about 9 Mashona Angus bulls out of this bull crop, these calves that you're seeing go by. And we'll use them along with the other ones that we have, Elvis and the 3 Musketeers. We'll use them to service the red tag heifers and then whatever heifers we keep this year, which will be mostly all of them. So we're going to end up keeping some of those. So we probably won't sell all of them, obviously. And I will probably select a few extra because, it's very difficult to select a bull calf for breeding purposes out of a large herd that you don't know who their mama was. And you're just going off of kind of if they look right as far as, do they look like a masculine bull? Are they not a great big lanky bull? Are they kind of close to the ground? Are they thick? All that kind of stuff. So we'll do our best to select. Like I said, we'll select a couple of extras because there's always going to be 1 or 2 that you're like, I don't like that bull when they get a little older. So that is the plan for this year. Now, as I said earlier, it's dry, and we may end up having to do things that we don't want to do again, and if we do, we just adjust. So it's not a big deal. But back to the Mashona, it will continue to play a huge role in our operation, and we think it is extremely important for it. So that's what you're seeing. Half Mashona. All these calves are going to be half Mashona, half Angus, or half our herd. There's a handful of Corianis in there, and you'll see some of those that are half and half. That real colored up calf, that's obviously a half Coriani. But they're just, it's just another cross. There's a lot of people doing that cross, and so they'll be able to, or wanting to do that cross, so you can look at those cows with their babies and see what they're going to look like. Anyway, I'm excited about their energy level, and they all seem to be doing great. I do think that their energy level is not always a function of how well we did with our management through the winter. I think that the age of the female plays a little bit of a role too. It just seems like younger people have a lot more energy than some of us. So now we're doing our next move down the timber, down the creek, down the big creek, and they're still showing good energy. They're not really showing that they're picking up body condition yet, but it won't be long. It's just around the corner. So I feel like we're right on schedule. There's going to come a point in here where we may have to go ahead and pull bull calves off because, we're getting some rain, but we have none in the bank, is I guess the best way to put it. We ate our forage too short, and it's going to take it longer to recover, and I don't know what's going to happen this summer. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and maybe play it safe and take some big calves out and go with them probably. But that's all subject to change. You know how things are in the farming and ranching business. It changes regularly. So we're moving them. We'll take a look at them as they're moving, and we will go from there. For those of you that don't know, all of these calves that you see that don't have a tag, they are all half Mashona. All of the red tag, a little bit bigger heifers are half Mashona heifers. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of it. So we will see you next time.